Happening. Hello out there in my TV land. We want to thank you guys for always tuning in with us. I am one of your hosts, Nina Childs, and I am here today with one of my favorite people in the world, a comedian on the rise, an extraordinary person, all around good guy, Demetrius Juice Deason.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
For a minute, I didn't know you was talking about me. I was like, what are you talking about?
Well, it could be me, right?
Yeah,
Right. Well, you know what? I always like to start off my interviews by letting the people out there know a little bit more about you. Like, where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Compton, LA, Los Angeles area, but I kind of lived in every city in LA. So I kind of, when people ask me, I'm from LA, like all of LA.
Because you did a lot of moving around.
Moving.
Well, with that being said, how did you start on your journey as a comedian? Like, how did you get started? What made you want to go into comedy?
Just moving around so much and being around so many different people and like just seeing different stuff. I kind of stood out with my sense of humor, just being honest and just talk about what I was going through. I struggled a lot growing up, like a lot. So I kind of just, rather than being a person that was just down or like not positive about it, I made it funny. And then I realized later you can actually make a career out of that. I didn't know that until later.
So you just kind of like found the hilarity of life.
Exactly. And then when I got in like my 20s, someone was like, you could be a stand-up comedian. I'm like, I don't know how to write jokes. They're like, so what?
So how did that go? Like, I mean, with you not knowing how to write jokes when you first started, when you got on stage, was it more like you were improvising? Like, how was it writing your first joke?
I improv for the first couple of years. I improv, but then I realized the same thing I was doing in the cities I lived in was the same thing that worked on stage. And once I saw that, I was like, gotcha. And then from there, I just started being. I got more and more comfortable being myself. Because once I realized, like some people be they self, but their self is not funny. But I'm actually funny at being myself. So I brought that to the stage and it kind of opened up doors from there. Then I learned how to write jokes.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
It's an interesting start to your story. So you got started somewhere in your like early to mid 20s, and I'm sure that's been quite a journey. Now, who are some of your heroes that like coming up in the game when you kind of first realized, oh, this comedy thing is like an actual thing? Who did you really look to learn from?
Well, my number one hero, and I always tell people about this, is my mom. Like my mom was a stand-up comedian. She wasn't like a real stand-up comedian, but she doesn't make you laugh anybody anywhere in real life. So, but my mom had like a different type of childhood, so she wasn't the type of person that go in front and tell you her problems if you don't know her. So that kind of inspired me to want to do it because I'm like, well, you're not gonna do it, Mom. I'm gonna be the one to go and tell people what we've been through. So that kind of been, and then from there I started getting inspired by other comedians working with different people. But my mom is the person I'm like, yeah, I want to do this.
Well, she made you want to do stand-up comedy even though she'd never done it.
Exactly.
Never got on the stage.
Exactly.
Some people are like that. They're just naturally funny.
Naturally
you just feel like every conversation with them should come with a 2-drink minimum.
Hilarious. Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And with a heckler.
Well, you know what? That's a great segue into my next question. Because I was going to ask you, I know that, you've been doing this for some years now, right?
Yeah. 11.
11. Wow. Almost as long as I've been alive. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not a comedian, obviously. No, but how do you handle hecklers?
Be funny. Be funny. Yeah, be funny. I feel like most of the time when I'm funny, it kind of take care of itself, but it's part of the game. Like, I never take it personal. I just always know on the spot, if you say something, you open up the door.
Right.
Just know I'm going to get the last laugh, and I have the mic.
Okay, so he's going to get the last laugh if you go to his shows and heckle him, so you got to be prepared for it.
And I'm one of them people, like, even when I growing up, like, and I do comedy, or I don't really talk about people. Or I do self-deprecation about myself, what I've been through, what I observed. But then when you egg me on and put me in a situation like that, I'll get the crowd behind me, and then me and the crowd about to go for you, because you're interrupting the show now.
Right, because some people like to go to comedy shows and make it about them.
Exactly.
It's like, just sit here and let the comedians do their thing. Why are you being extra?
You paid, you got dressed, you put on your best cologne, put on lotion for a reason. Let us do what we do.
Oh, lotion, that's really funny. Wait, I was going to ask, so what's a standout moment from your career? Like, what's the highlight? What's something that you've done that was like, wow, that was dope?
I performed in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I brought out 1,000 people for a show that I headlined in. This is about 2019.
Wow.
Yeah, and I co-hosted with NBA player named Russell Westbrook, so it's like super big. And
Oh, just a small little guy named Russell
Yeah,
Westbrook.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
Maybe you heard of him. Maybe you haven't. Get out of here.
But
How did that come about?
We went to school together and played basketball together in high school.
Okay, so that's still like a friend of yours.
Yeah, so and when I started doing comedy, I told him, and I told him I wanted to do a show down there. He was like, if you do all the work, if you set everything up, I'll show up and back you. And it became a really big deal. We did it for like 5 years straight.
Wow, you guys did like a yearly thing?
Mm-hmm. We did it every couple of months. So to kick off his season in Oklahoma, he used to play for the Thunder. We used to do a show there, and then at the end of the season, we do another one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. And now, speaking of Oklahoma, I saw on your social media that you were able to do some speaking engagements as well.
Yeah,
So you're kind of like parlaying your stand-up career into a public speaking career as well. How did that come about?
Just being someone of knowing the culture, is kind of feeling what's going on. I kind of once I started doing comedy, I saw how important it was to share my story and make light to it. So then I'm like, let me see if I can do that and talk to some kids and do motivational speaking. Because that's kind of what I do. I do motivational speaking. And because I know a lot of kids, when you first grow up, you struggling, like you can't read, you got social anxiety, all these different things people deal with. So I'm going to let me put myself in front of people and let them know. I was in special ed. I come from a single household. I was homeless. If I could tell jokes, anybody watching can do it. If you put in the work, of course.
Wow. So it's kind of like that Kevin Hart thing, like kind of like laugh at my pain type
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Or be inspired.
Laugh
by
at my
pain.
thoughts. Laugh at me not being able to read.
No. Oh my God. The way you
pronunciate words.
The way you put it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, all right. So the show in Oklahoma, you parlayed now into a public speaking career. What is a dream collaboration for you? Something that you would love to do? Could be in the future. Could be something that you're working on now.
I would want to work with Kevin Hart down the road. I feel like he is one of the best at doing it in terms of not just on stage, but off stage with business and just networking. So I want to work with him, and because I feel like that will get me out to more of the masses. Mm-hmm. So I just think it's a matter of time for my story gets seen before the right person be like, yo, I would like him.
And Kevin's a really nice guy. I used to be the assistant to the owner at the Comedy Union, Inns Mitchell.
Okay.
When I was like 19, I was super young.
That's my guy.
You know Inns?
Yeah, that's where I started. My first place I produced a show was at the Comedy Union.
That's dope. Black owned.
Black owned.
Right. And at
right
that
on
time,
Pico.
Yep. I had just come back from New York, and Kevin Hart was one of the regulars there. Now, he hadn't blown up yet, but I just remember him being a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And that's really key in this industry. So many people, it's a lot of vanity.
Yeah.
People are full of themselves or just really focused on what they're doing. But it's really important to be nice.
Yeah, I learned that.
And when you meet him, you'll find he's super nice.
I learned that in doing it, because when I've always been nice. But when I got into comedy and I started doing some things, started touring, been on some stuff, I started being at a higher level around comedians, and I seen some of them are not the nicest people, and that sometimes closed doors. So that's why I wanted to make sure I be respectful, I be on time, and I just show people that like even though I am talented, God bless me with the ability to be a kind person too, you know.
Yeah, it's so very necessary. I always say you got to be nice to people on your way up, because you might need them on your way down.
No, listen. Oh, I got
and that's
one.
Real.
I got one. I always tell people you gotta be nice to people on the way up, because if you do fall, they're not gonna catch you.
Right. That's even better.
And a lot of times, I know celebrities, they go to the top and fall buried to the bottom, but look at all the people you treated like that on the way up there.
Yeah.
So, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's very, very, very true. And so what are you working on right now? Like, what's your next big thing?
Right now, I'm working on a few big things. I just launched my website, so I got a new website, which is called comedianjuice.com. And on the website, you could buy merch. You can see my tickets to my shows. You can reach out to me about working with me. And I'm on tour right now. So this is my third tour that I produce and headlining myself. So I'm actually heading back to Oklahoma City, Vegas. I'm going international. I'm going to London. I'm going to Australia and Toronto. So this is the first time.
This year?
This year. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you have all those dates mapped out.
Yeah, first time.
That's going to be dope.
Yeah.
That's going to be dope.
I feel like it's time. And I just have my kids. I have two kids, a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old. So I feel like once that got stable, I want to go around the world now, really let people see what I have to offer.
Yeah, and just, because you never know what could happen.
Never know.
Putting yourself out there, being in these different places.
And I ain't shy. That's one thing about me with promoting myself or letting people know what I do, because I was in special ed. I'm already accomplished most of the stuff I wanted to. I just wanted to say words and not stutter. Y'all see this right now? I'm already winning everything after that. So now that I'm doing jokes and making people laugh, I'm like, oh yeah, God, you got something for me.
So you had a really bad stutter.
Yeah, really bad.
And
really
you
bad.
overcome that.
Yeah, really
to
bad.
be able to not only do comedy but be a public speaker. That's dope.
Really bad. Like it was so bad. I used to make sure I was the first one in class and sit in the back so nobody noticed me, and I just be back there. It was that bad.
How did you overcome that?
Being talked about over and over, and people don't know, kids are mean. So, and I went to a public school in the hood. They didn't give me no breaks. So one of my things was I was gonna get better at talking so I could talk about them.
So you could talk back.
And that's what happened. Then after that, once I got good at it, nobody wanted to talk to me then.
That part,
Yeah.
because you got to always have that in yourself, that you got to defend yourself,
It's like self-defense. It's like fighting. Like it's any other way. So I learned how to. Then once I got good at it, I learned that this is a gift now. This is a power. Because then I didn't want to be a bully either. It's one thing to overcome something. Now you bullying doing the same thing. So that's why I only go at hecklers or talk about people who come for me.
Right. Other than that, you don't come for me, I don't come for you.
That's all love. I love everybody.
That's great. And now one thing that I did want to go into too is that you have a nonprofit.
Yeah, I do.
Because you used to play basketball.
Yes, ma'am.
So you have layups to stand up.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us more about that nonprofit and what you do.
So I have a nonprofit, which she said is layups to stand up, which obviously just means that I used to play basketball and then I transitioned to stand up. And it kind of came about, like I said, one of my friends was Russell Westbrook. He played in the NBA. So I used to be around all the NBA players, and they always start nonprofits. And one day I asked, I said, why do y'all always do that?
Right.
They're like, 'cause we like to give back. I'm like, all right, well, I want to give back, but I never wanted to be a person that gave back when I had it. So I wanted to be a person that gave back from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to look back on my career, but I've been giving back my whole life. And so because of that, I started a nonprofit, and we pretty much just serve the inner cities throughout the country, different places. We put on charity events, fundraisers, basketball leagues, run camps, and then I do all my appearances and motivational speaking through my nonprofit.
Oh, wow. Okay. So if you guys are looking for somebody to come to your city or town and do some basketball camps or some motivational speaking, please get out here and we'll make sure that they get all your socials before
Please.
But I did want to talk to you about this because I know with comedians in today's society, because it's kind of a segue from the bullying stuff you were talking about. It's like we just had to have tougher skin growing up in the 80s and 90s. Like we couldn't cry about it and be online crying and stuff about getting bullied. And so we're in such a sensitive society and culture now. You see people like Dave Chappelle being attacked for making jokes, and the comedy climate, it used to be comedians were off limits. They could just really make a joke about anything and nobody is safe. But now it seems like you could actually get put in a position, like Kevin Hart lost the Oscars because of that tweet, and which was a joke, and I don't know if he's ever been back. So what do you think about comedy's role in today's society?
Personally, I don't care because I'm gonna speak my truth, just because if I don't, how would I stand out for me? So I speak my truth, but I do it in a way that's respectful and kind. Mm-hmm. But it's definitely sensitive. Like, it's so many comedians that's not furthering their careers right now because they scared to say how they feel. But that's all what stand-up was and is you speaking your point of view, your point, how you feel, what makes you do what you do. And, it's everything not going to offend somebody. Some things do, but that's okay. Don't laugh at that joke. Laugh at the next one.
I found that the jokes aren't as offensive if it's coming from your perspective. Like, for example, D.L. Hughley has a son that has autism. People don't touch special needs. They don't. But if you're living with it and you're a parent that's active and in that child's life and you're a comedian, I think you should have the right to joke about it. This is your experience. This is your life. This is what you're going through.
Like, I have a lot of jokes about being in special ed. I was in special ed. I was in special ed from 1st grade to 12th grade. I also have kids and friends that were not in special ed. So one of my jokes is how I was never special dumb. I was regular dumb, which is a real thing, So if I joke
What is regular dumb? No, hold on, back it up. What is regular dumb?
Regular. It's like y'all watching.
We're just regular dumb. We're not like dumb dumb.
We're not dumb, but we need to be on the bus and have people help us. But
That's funny. Well, but speaking of that, you know, with comedians, you guys write jokes, right?
Right.
Sometimes jokes work, sometimes they don't.
Facts.
Have you ever had a joke that no matter how many times you did it, it just didn't work? It just was kind of like a flop joke. Like, what was the joke if you remember, and like, how did you recover from that?
It's been a while since that happened, so I gotta think. But I definitely had that happen before. Like sometimes it's not only the joke. Sometimes it's the setup of the joke, or sometimes it's the way you deliver it. So I had a joke which was in the beginning about me talking about how I had celebrity friends. I said, and the joke was that I was bi-financial. But it never worked because I never could get it off the right way. So I ended up stopped using it. Even right now.
Bi-financial, like bisexual, but bi-financial.
You feel me? Like, cause I'm broke, but my friends are rich. So when I went there, I live rich. But when I go back home, I go back broke. But for whatever reason, when I said that joke or my jokes and said I had around that, it didn't really translate with the audience. Cause I don't know. So I ended up just dropping it. It was like, you know what?
We're gonna can that one.
We're finding another way to let you guys know I don't have any money, but my friends do.
Right. Yeah. So that's always interesting. What advice do you have for any comedians out there that are up and coming or looking to start this journey of comedy?
Be patient with yourself. Do the work. Even when you have a set or a joke that works, that don't mean you made it or you maxed out your career. You gotta keep working. One of the things for me I learned is even when I be in big shows, small shows, every night it's opportunity to get better. It's opportunity to gain a new follower, a new fan, or make somebody feel better about themselves that's living a sucky life. I learned that comedy, we really are doctors, and I looked at myself as a doctor. When you come to one of my shows, you're gonna feel better about yourself than you can. And I'm gonna tell you all my problems, so you could go home like, man, I'm glad I'm not him.
It could be worse.
It could be so much worse.
It could be so much worse. Okay, and now that's a really interesting perspective. I always like to talk about the bomb factor with comedy, because do we already talk about this? Because you're gonna bomb. Even after you get good, you still bomb. I was talking to Courtney Black about that last week, and it's like, so how do you handle bombing? Because I found that, like, do comedians bomb when it's a thing of like not being able to read the room? Like, say if it's a thinner crowd, maybe you don't just do your jokes, maybe you do more crowd work. Or if it's a bigger crowd, maybe you don't do zingers, you do, more where, like, is there a formula for not bombing?
No. No, it's not. You could bomb, you could kill like I'm on a road right now, so I'll be killing on the road. And then I come back to LA and I'll do a show and I'll bum. And then you'd be like, what? I just killed with this joke. Why? Hello, is the mic on? And it's literally, it could be just you're too confident, too arrogant. It could be the littlest things that make you bum or your joke not work. So it's like, you gotta just always be in the moment. Mm-hmm. For me, I don't think I bum, because even when our joke doesn't work, I address it. And I'll laugh about it right there and there. And then we laugh and then we move on.
Wow, that's a good strategy.
It works for me, and a lot of people just, or some people just act like it didn't happen. Elephant in the room. Nah, we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about what happened last
week. We're gonna talk about.
Let's get down to the bottom of what happened here.
Y'all didn't like that either. I wrote that on my way here. My bad.
Right, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I'm like, you gotta be able to laugh at yourself if you want people to laugh.
Right, and now can you talk about the commercial that you're doing?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you have something else big coming up too,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. This July I'll be in my first natural commercial. Is supposed to be with Spotify, I'm very excited. I've done a lot of local. For me, in order to get experience, I always do stuff myself. So I did a lot of local commercials for different businesses just to help them out, help myself out, and then that got me into the natural commercial. Somebody saw me, like, you'd be perfect for this. I'm like, how you know? You just did it. Say less.
Yeah, let's get it done.
Sign me up. Let's
get it done.
Yeah, sign me up.
All right. Well, before we get out of here, I want you to let our viewers out there know where they can find you on social media and where they can follow you.
All right. People watching, all cameras, you can find me on social media at I Am Juice Man, spelled just like that. I Am Juice Man with 2 N's. I also have a website, which is comedianjuice.com. Sorry about that. Sometimes my special ed just kick in. I'm like, get up out of here. Like, people think special ed just go away after you graduate, but sometimes it don't. You gotta work on it.
You're still special.
You're still special.
That's it.
I'm working my way to be regular. But like I said, all social media platforms is I Am Juice Man. Please just support, tap in. I don't bite.
That's right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much, Juice, for coming out and talking with me today.
Thanks for having me.
We'd love to have you back again next season, maybe. And maybe you've done some more things. But until then, guys, we're signing off. But stay tuned because we have some more interviews coming up. Bye.